Hi guys, what's up? It's Alex here. Today we are here with round 3 of the Go-Kart Championship in 2016. Unfortunately today there was only 2 of us, myself and my dad, so you can see this is my camera view, and I don't know why, but the other GoPro ran out of battery literally on the car journey there, so that was a bit annoying. But yeah, so this is the first race. Basically, as there was only 2 of us, we decided not much point doing qualifying, so we might as well just do 2 races, and the fastest lap from both of those races gets the points for pole position. So you still get the same amount of points, obviously, so through the qualifying to fastest lap. So yeah, so camera view is mine. The person you can see on the screen there is my dad, so that's pretty simple to see who is who. So yeah, even though there's only 2 of us here, I was expecting good racing, because I knew the last time that we did, we only had 2 of us racing, me and my dad and myself and Tom last year, and both of those rounds were actually really fun, and sometimes only having 2 people on the track makes it even better than normal. But you can see I go for a move down the inside here, and that's me into the lead of this first race of the first race of round 3. So this is obviously good for me, so it helped me out in the championship. I've sort of slowly fallen behind Tom in the first 2 rounds of the season. Well, he had a really good performance last time out, getting pole position and both wins, so he's looking to go for the championship, as am I. But he misses out on this round. I messaged him, but he was busy, unfortunately. So yeah, it would have been really important for him if he came today. He could have got some really important points at the championship, but I make a mistake here, run a bit wide, get on sort of the loose part of the track where all the marbles are. I don't know, marbles maybe not the term you'd use in go-karting, but where all the rubbish is basically off the go-karts, the bits of tyre rubber and that sort of stuff. And I got on that and I missed my braking point a bit there, but you can see I try and go to the inside of a dad here, going side by side. I got a bit sideways, but I had to slot him behind here. I couldn't quite get a good enough run, but down this back straight here, I might be fast enough in the straight home. This is a Marshall, so I was just walking down the track there. I was a bit worried about going off the track or anything there. So I go down the inside, but I misjudged my braking once again, so that was a bit disappointing. But my dad goes back through into the lead this race. You can see already lots of overtakes happening, and it's pretty exciting stuff. It would have been great to see this from 2 camera angles, but I don't know what's wrong. I think one of the GoPros has it's the oldest GoPro that keeps running out of battery so quickly. So maybe there's just a problem with that. I mean, it's quite a few years old now, so I'd expect it to be deteriorating. So maybe the battery's just going dead on it. But up to the top hairpin once again. I'm in the lead, and I managed to turn in this time. It was kind of weird, because if you see on your screen here, it was really foggy. You can only just about make it up from the sort of part where you go into the go-karts. You can see we're just going around the last main corner here, so this is where you get into the go-karts, go through there and get into the karts, and you can hardly see to the top corner. Maybe on the camera you can't even see the top corner here from this view here, but you could just about see it while standing at the bottom of the track. But it was quite foggy today, and it was really cold as well, so it wasn't exactly the most fun conditions to go go-karting in, obviously. But I was expecting to have a lot of fun anyway, obviously, because of 2 karts normally it makes it a lot closer and lots of good overtaking. But yes, I've got the nice lead here, so I've just got, at this point I was focusing on trying to get a good lap time in, but I make a slight mistake here, and quite slow off that corner here, as you can see. So I'm running up to the top corner here, quite slow obviously through making that mistake at the last corner, getting sideways, meaning that unfortunately I'm going to get a really bad run down the straight. But up to the top hairpin here, go wide once again, cut back to the inside, and this actually felt like one of the best go-karts I've ever had. After I got used to it a little bit, obviously it was quite kind of cold, so if this was in warm conditions this would be like amazing, but even in cold conditions this kart was gripping really well. It was really fast in a straight line, so I was pretty happy with it. I set my one of my best times in a long time today, so that's really good. But we both had new engines in our go-karts, both the karts were really equal, so you guys are going to have to see who manages to get the upper hand here today. So yeah, so thank you guys really just in general for supporting this sort of videos on this series, on this channel, sorry, because I didn't really expect this series to do very well, but you guys are really supporting it, which I do appreciate a lot. Obviously it's something different. I try to do something a little bit different on this channel from time to time. Obviously it's mostly F1 stuff, but from time to time I would like to do something different, obviously, so this is a chance to escape from the F1 world for just a little bit. And you guys aren't seeing anything, that the camera has got, I don't know, there might be a bit of moisture on the lens here, but it is still really foggy in this first race of 2, and it's not exactly the easiest conditions to be driving, to be perfectly honest. It is kind of off-putting, but you get used to it after a couple of laps. And I had a tinted visor. I've switched over to a new helmet for this season. I've got a picture up on Twitter if you want to go and have a look at it, but yeah, it's basically it's a plain black helmet with a sort of a tinted visor like you see in the Formula 1 and all that. It looks cool, but in conditions like this it isn't exactly great because it's already quite dark to just looking out like this. It's not exactly the brightest conditions. It's quite dark to start off with, so when you put a tinted visor over the top of it, it doesn't exactly make it great, visibility wise, but it's not actually too bad in the end. I mean, I was actually quite worried going there that I wouldn't be able to see much at all, but luckily it's not actually too bad. It does a good job. I haven't been there in like proper sunny conditions, but I think it's going to do a good job once it is properly sunny. And yeah, so hoping also next time out, round number 4, we're going to have a lot of people. Will's back from uni, John should be back racing as well, and James might be racing as well. Tom hopefully will be break from the school, so hopefully we should have a big grid for next time. Hopefully 6 or 7 people racing next time. That will be the aim, to hopefully just get as big a grid as possible to have as good a racing as possible, really. I mean, we haven't had a big grid this season so far. We've had 4 people in the first 2 races and then only 2 here today, so that's obviously not the attendance we'd like, obviously, but I can't drag people around the country just to come go-karting. I understand it, but I have got to try and finish this sort of 2016 championship off in the first sort of half of the year. I'm going to be busy in the second half of the year, so it's going to be unlikely that I'm going to be able to go karting much. We might do like a few maybe sort of off races, like not championship races or whatever, just for a bit of fun. But yeah, so I'm not sure what happened. Maybe we'll do like another endurance race or something. That'd be pretty cool. Something I've always really enjoyed doing is those endurance races. It always mixes up the order a little bit, and it's a lot of fun, especially in the damp conditions, which we've done it in the past twice. But you can see here my dad hasn't managed to really go for an overtake as of yet, but he is quite close to me. He's within like a second or so behind me here, so he's I kept looking around because I kept seeing him there, and I was expecting him to go for an overtake at some point. But obviously in the conditions like this, it's not exactly like the grippiest surface in the world, and if this was a sunny day, this go-kart would be flying around the track a lot, even quicker than I went today. So yeah, it's not exactly the grippiest conditions. Obviously when it's cold, the temperature, the track temperature isn't as great. I'm sure there is a sort of a limit, where it goes over the edge on the other side. If it's too hot, it makes it even worse. But yeah, a good summer's day in England where it's not raining, it'd be a lot of fun. Hopefully we can have a few of those sunny go-kart races before the end of the season. But I make a slight mistake. They're running a little bit wide through the corner up to the top hairpin here, and you can see there is a bit of it's weird. I think it's condensation on the outside of the lens. I'm not too sure what it is. Maybe it's just a bit of moisture. I can't really tell. It's really weird. You can tell when there's condensation on the inside, obviously, because it fogs up quite a bit. But this is really weird. I don't actually honestly know what's happening. It's the first time I've ever seen this happen. It's sort of looks like it's frozen, doesn't it? Frozen over the lens a little bit. Kind of weird, but it clears up for the second race, which is all good. But up to the top hairpin there, my dad's actually gone for an overtake. He managed to get the move down the inside and up to the top hairpin. He's managed to steal the move and go up to first position there, up to the top hairpin. He's got that move done, and he's moved himself into the lead of this race here. We've got about 2 minutes to go, probably just under, so 3 or 4 laps to go in this race here, so I've got to put the pressure on him and try and get that overtake done. Back again, he's made a slight mistake, got a bit sideways up to the top hairpin, running over that curve, getting a bit of a jolt as you go through there. We managed to do it, going to be side by side. You can see he's gone through. It's going to be ahead going to the top hairpin here, but I'm going to try and brake a little bit later. We've braked later and we've gone through up into the lead of the race once again, so 2 or 3 laps to go after this one. It's going to be quite tough now to defend here, to try and make sure that we get this win, obviously, which is important for me, because I know Tom L is going to be coming back in the championship very soon. Obviously he missed this race here, but I still honestly think he's probably odds-on favourite to win this championship, to be perfectly honest. I mean, he was so quick last on that in round 2. If he can keep up that performance for the rest of the season, I honestly think he will be the champion this year. But obviously I'm not going to be giving up. I'll try my best as well to win this championship, and obviously having the extra round and the points to go with it will help me out significantly. Obviously there's a shorter season as well, only 6 rounds this year instead of 12. It was kind of crazy. I don't know why we did 12 rounds for the last 2 seasons. It's maybe a bit overboard, to be perfectly honest. We didn't really need to do that many rounds, but go-karting's a hobby and I enjoy it, and try and go about once a month with friends and obviously friends and family to, I don't know, it's just it sounds maybe a bit stupid. It's kind of relaxing to just get away from everything sometimes, and that's why I go cycling quite a bit as well, just to get away from certain things. And yeah, it's good, I enjoy it. So yeah, I don't know how we got onto that topic, but we've got a few laps to go here. This could even be the last lap. I'm not 100% sure. It's hard to tell from my mini monitor here. For anyone wondering, I edit this in Sony Vegas and just do the commentary over the top of it. So it's kind of hard to tell exactly how long you have to go when the whole sort of timeline's lined up as it is. But yeah, I think this could be the last lap of the race here, and we've got a nice position here to go and get a second victory for ourselves in the season, and hopefully for us we'll take it. Last corner, start finish lines there, flags waving, we take the victory. Always go full throttle up to that second line there, because that is actually the finish line there, not the one that you saw the wave being flagged at. But there we are, I was racing results. Obviously I win, and my dad finished in second place there. He was quite close behind, I think 2 or 3 seconds in the end. He did drop back after I overtook him, but you know, the pressure was on. But time for race number 2 here. You can see, as there was only 2 of us, I didn't think there was much point of us sort of going out onto the grid and stopping, so we just saved a bit of time by going sort of straight out of the pit lane onto the racetrack. You can see it's quite, you know, the sort of leaves falling off. I don't know whether it's leaves or just parts of the trees falling off onto the track at the side there at the pit lane exit. Sorry, not entrance. You're trying to sort of avoid that as quickly as possible. You don't want that stuff all over your tyres. It's not going to exactly help. It's going to make you lose even more grip. But you can see the camera sort of fixed itself out there. You can see top left, it's still got a bit of that weird, I don't even know what to call it, to be perfectly honest, but it's sort of weird texture in the top left hand side of the screen. Obviously something's covering the outside of that lens, but it's weird. It sort of fixes itself, and I'm not 100% sure how it does it, but whatever. Maybe you can see, well, I don't know, it's partly down to the fog. It's slightly gone away, the fog, in this second race here. It's surprising how quickly it's sort of actually gone between the races. We only had like 5 minutes sort of stopped in the pit lane, and the fog just sort of cleared really well, so that was good for us obviously, because it improved conditions. It wasn't so cold in the second race as well. Maybe it was just because we were a bit warmed up for the second race, but it was a bit warmer in the second race, which was good. I mean, not like sunny conditions obviously, but you know, it wasn't freezing my hands like the first race was. But heading up to the top hairpin here, we're going to brake and try and go down the inside. No, my dad's managing to hold the position. He's gone a bit sideways, but he's managed to keep the position there. He's leading in the second race. Obviously, if he can pick up a victory, that'd be great. I mean, obviously, for him, he didn't exactly have the greatest moment in the last round. He had a big lead, and Tom L somehow managed to claw it back. Like, he managed to claw back like 8 seconds in like 5 or 6 laps. It was quite insane, but I suppose that's what, you know, proving how fast Tom L has been this year. That race right there has proved everything. I think that he's definitely going for the championship. He's definitely got a good chance at it. So we're trying to close down here. I mean, obviously we haven't got much to do to close the gap right down there, but we're slightly slower through there. Bottom corner, they were struggling a little bit throughout this whole race, but he's gone through there nice and cleanly this time, and he's built a bit more of a gap here. There's a substantial difference between this and a lap ago, about twice the length of the gap. But down the back straight, obviously we're getting into the slipstream. It does help a little bit, not massively, but it does help a little bit, that slipstream. So here I do decide to back off a little bit here, just to try and give me a bit of a run. I wanted to try and go for the fastest lap in the second race, obviously, because the conditions were improving, so I wanted to try my best here to just go for a fastest lap. So that's why I backed off a little bit, to give me a bit of space to try and go for the fastest lap that I wanted to obviously get those extra 5 points. So obviously normally it's 5 points for pole position, but we didn't do the pole position qualifying today, because we decided there's only 2 of us, so there's not much points, so we'll just give those points like we've done in the winter series in the past to the person that gets the fastest lap basically. But you can see I've closed in once again, so maybe I do have the advantage obviously here today. But as his back was certainly a little bit after the first one, so maybe that could contribute to being quite a bit slow in the second race here. But I got a bit sideways through there, and that's not exactly great for me. And going up to the top hairpin, you can see it's side-by-side stuff into the braking zone. We're going to manage to do it once again. We try and go, but there's not so much grip on this track here, so I sort of had to go a bit sort of straight on really, and just slow the kart down a bit. But you can see once again I'm slowing up the kart, trying to give myself a bit of a gap here, and hopefully going to go for another fastest lap attempt here. As many of these attempts as possible will be great, obviously, whilst we get a bit of a slipstream advantage as well. I mean, if we did eventually get past, it's not going to be as quick, because obviously we're not going to manage to get that slipstream. I mean, it's really, you're talking like hundredths of a second, but it all adds up. So top hairpin once again, my dad gets really sideways, so that's the corner he's struggling at obviously in this race. He's really struggling that top hairpin to get any sort of good line through there. It looks like he's losing quite a lot of grip. But up to the bottom corner here, you can see once again we're looking for a move, and we've gone side by side here once again, jumping down the curb. But this time I think we've got into the lead of the race. Could be side by side at the top hairpin here. We'll see whether we look across here, but I'm going definitely defensive here up to the top hairpin, so I'm definitely aware of the threat. But this time I managed to get it slowed down and through the corner perfectly this time. And I do get a lot of questions and comments on these videos from time to time, like why do we always end up going to the same track? Well, it's so convenient. It's so much closer than most of the other tracks. I mean, this is I don't know whether anyone lives sort of in the East Sussex really, but this is near Eastbourne, Polegate, that sort of area. This is where this track's sort of located at, and it's so much closer than any other track. I mean, you're having to travel probably about 90 minutes probably to get to Lydd, which is probably the second closest track, and I know there are a couple of others. There's Milton Keynes on the other side of London, so yeah, there's not that many close go-kart tracks to us here, and the people that run this track and just everything in general was so, so kind. I've been to other tracks in the past. I've been to Lydd and I think another, I can't remember, but this is definitely the nicest place, definitely the friendliest guys running it. So that's why I always like coming back here. It's just, it's convenient, that's the first thing, and also the staff and everyone is really nice. They always help out. If anyone new comes and decides to be a part of the championship, they always brief them well and give them a bit of time maybe out by themselves just to get used to the kart. So yeah, that's why I always like coming back here. It's always just a friendly place to be and really always enjoyable, and it generally does provide really good racing because unlike a lot of go-kart tracks, it's not flat, which a lot of tracks are flat, which is alright, I'm sure, for some, but the up and down definitely adds a bit of character to this track. But I know the one thing that does constantly come up in the comment section is these karts are slow and they're rental karts, and we do know that, but we can't afford for all of us to set up a series and buy the go-karts and everything. I know some people out there are obviously in a good position and they can afford to buy their own go-kart and all that, but it's just definitely not on the table for us. So that's why we use rental karts, and obviously we know there are faster rental karts out there, but let's be honest, there's not anywhere near us. Like, once again, you'd have to travel to Lydd to get a fast track and kart, and really there's not much point for us. It would just be inconvenient for, if there was a big grid of us, those 6 or 7 or 8 of us, it would be very inconvenient to all go there. It'd kind of be tough and waste a lot of petrol. But that's just explaining. I know people do comment it from time to time. I just wanted to let you guys know. But yeah, maybe we'll do other races at other tracks in the future, but just at this current time, this is the only one we'll be using for this season at least. But maybe next year we'll try and sort something else. I mean, let me know, guys, if you sort of live sort of below London, if you will, that part of the country, just let me know what tracks you go to, and maybe if you do live somewhere further away, just let me know what go-kart tracks you're enjoying at the moment, you go to a lot. And at this point in the race, I'm not 100% sure what's happening. I did talk to my dad after this about it, but he said that his back was hurting after today, and the sort of the bumpy part on the track was not exactly the most pleasant experience here today. So that's why I was going slowly. I think he just sort of realised at this point that I did put in a few good lap times and sort of brought the gap up to about 5 or 6 seconds, and then I think my dad just sort of started to slow down to just sort of bring it home. But yeah, I don't think he realised going to the second race that it was going to get worse, obviously, because it's not exactly, other tracks may be different, but this track's quite physically demanding because you're always sort of steering in a way. There's not too many parts where you're just sort of going in a straight line. You're sort of physically always trying to do stuff, you're always going like sideways or whatever, and you're always steering. This is briefly here, it's not even a straight line, is it? But this is the only part you'd say you're technically going straight. But yeah, so I've only got a few laps to go here. I was just sort of slowing up because I wasn't sure what was happening here with my dad, but I was gonna try and do a good race, a few overtakes and all that if he was all right. But I just sort of at this point he gave the gap there, and I just thought there's no point just waiting behind here. It's just going to be unpleasant to try and race for him, obviously. So anyway, we're gonna have one lap, I think, one more lap, 2 level laps. I'm not too sure, but not too far to go in this race here. But I have victory. Basically, I need to finish this lap and I basically have got it. I mean, if I crash and obviously go off the road here, my dad could claw back an extra lap, but I don't think that will be the case. Here we are, we're going to go around the final couple of corners here, unless this could even be the last lap of the race. You will see the checker flag. Is it being readied here? Up to the start finish line. No checker flag yet, so we've got one more lap here, but that now confirms me the win, obviously, because I've gone past the start finish line. So 2 wins out of 2, and I did manage to get a fastest lap as well, which was great for me. My fastest time in a long time, I did a 29.8, and I know for a lot of people that's, you know, if you've been there, it's probably quite mediocre, but I'm definitely heavier than a lot of people that go here. So yeah, and taller as well, so I blame that. Anyway, up to the start finish line now. I'm really happy with that. Obviously it's not as exciting as if there was like 6 or 7 people, but still I do appreciate my dad coming out and going racing. But there we are, so race 2, and we managed to do the same order once again. I won and my dad finished in 2nd place, but it does actually affect the championship there, and well, it does it in a positive way for me, which is good, I suppose. But looking at that table, you definitely say that Tom L has a realistic chance of winning this championship. If he can keep up the form that he picked up in those first 2 rounds, I honestly feel he's still going to go on to win the championship. Now there's a 27-point gap between myself and him. There's obviously 8 points in the other direction before this race, obviously. So yeah, I've got that. I reversed that advantage, and my dad actually gone into 2nd place as well there with a string of 5 podium results in a row there. John didn't manage to make it here today. He was working, so he didn't manage to make it, but hopefully he'll be not working. Hopefully he'll not be working the next one, so we can go, which will probably be in sort of the Easter time, so maybe a few weeks. I mean, we just got to work it around when the most people can go, and obviously I needed to sort of go karting today, and unfortunately there wasn't the mass grid that we'd like. But yeah, that's it guys, thank you for watching, hopefully you enjoyed it, thanks for tuning in, remember to leave a like, let's try and hit 100 likes on this video. It's Blax, and I'm out of here, goodbye.